Straight away, how hard is it to work in a mask?
The first time I wore a mask, I mean, I already I asked Brad, he had me come down and help out with another camp, help train some of the guys. And I asked Brad, I go, Brad, it's been 7.5 years. I go, what do I got to do to get a break? And he says, well, the business has changed now. He says, it's all about TV. You got to come up with something visual that's going to grab people's attention so they won't change channel. And that's when I was thinking, I'd already been going to Japan quite a bit and saw a lot of the cool mask gimmicks over there. And I thought, well, no one in the States is doing it. And I knew the Power Rangers were huge on TV at the time. So I was working in a screen printing shop and I was good friends with one of the guys in the art department. So asked him, I said, I paid him to help me come up with a design. I said it wanted to be kind of like Power Rangers, but kind of alien like. And he came up with this design and I couldn't find I found a commercial. You couldn't, there weren't a lot of gear makers back then. So I went to this commercial company that did anything from wedding gowns to choir robes to you name it. So the labor was very expensive, but they did the outfit for me, but they didn't know how to make a mask. So when I went to Japan, I brought the outfit with, and this was for the Mask Man tournament for Michinoku. And I showed Sasuke my outfit. I said, I want to get a mask made from MIE, the top mask maker in Japan for this outfit. And I showed him the artwork and stuff. And he said, okay, but he said, please wear our mask. You know, they had a mask. They wanted me to wear that or go to cross mask. And at the very first time I wore the mask was that first day of that tournament against Super Delphin. And we were on the floor and those buildings over there didn't have air conditioning or heat. And it was hot that day. And I'm on the floor and it's the first time I wore a mask in a match. And this was one with the mouth open too, thank God. But and your body's heat cannot escape your head. So you get hot real fast and you'll get winded real fast too. And I started on the floor, like almost panicking and hyperventilating. I started untying the laces on the hood and I told myself, all right, take some deep breaths, relax. And then I made it through. But yeah, the first time was rough. It was like almost getting claustrophobic.
Yeah, you never you did wear a mask with no mouth opening at one point, didn't you? Or did it always have
No,
a
I
mouth
always
opening?
had the
You
opening.
always.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't know how they can do it without. I had to have it open.
No, this is for nothing, but a local band that I'm friends with all wear lucha masks while they're playing. They do surf music. For whatever reason, they just decided to wear the lucha masks, and they say
What are
the
they
same thing.
called? That sounds familiar.
They're not big. They're a local band called the
Okay.
Unshaggables. So there you go, a free plug for my friend's band.
So if they wear the mask, does it make them shaggable?
No, they haven't got the
Oh,
body. They
okay.
haven't got the bodies. It's fine. Right. So you go to WCW. You're Mr. JL sometimes. You're Jerry Lynn the other times. Did you get paid double?
No, no. I just got my weekly pay,
Yeah.
which was fine. Which was fine.
Were you guaranteed?
Yes, I just got a weekly guarantee pay.
That's not too bad then. Eric Bischoff, first
Well,
time.
except the one tapings we did. We did usually TVs. We would do 7 days of taping and do 4 1-hour shows each day, either at Disney or Universal. And then after each hour of taping, they'd empty out the crowd and bring in a fresh crowd for the next hour taping. Well, one week, I don't know if they were ribbing me or what, probably ribbing me, but I worked 2 of the days, I worked 4 matches each. And another 2 days, I worked 3 matches each day. And another 2 days, I worked 2 matches each day. And then the last day they had me work, I worked 1 match. So uh, one, in 7 days, I had 19 matches. And I had to drive all the way back from Orlando to Atlanta, where I was living at the time. And I couldn't stand up straight for a few days. I was a hurting unit.
And they didn't bonus you.
No.
Well. How hungover were you on those tapings?
There's a couple days. There's a couple days I was pretty hungover. The one day they ribbed me because I think the whole company was out partying the night before at this dueling piano bar. So I think everyone was probably hungover. But so they ribbed me. I had 3 matches in a row of the each 1 hour taping. The first match was Otani from New Japan. Second match was Kanemoto from New Japan. The third match was Kensuke Sasaki from New Japan. And I think they were testing me. And after the last one, Terry Taylor says, "I didn't know you could hang with the Japanese guys." I said, "Terry, I've already done 7 tours in Japan." But they were ribbing me because they knew I was pretty hungover, but I survived.
So three of the lightest guys that you could ever work with.
Well, the first two weren't bad, but Kensuke Sasaki, I think he was trying to touch the canvas through me on every stomp. It was brutal.
Did you ever, with these tapings, did you ever have to reshoot anything?
No. Hmm.
You're lucky because I know there are quite a few instances. I don't know, Buff Bagwell or Greg Valentine. That I don't know if a match went wrong or whatever. They just said that was terrible. Get out there, get out there and do it again right now. And then they just got to turn tail and just walk straight back out.
I have never had to do that.
Good man.
But I'm not perfect. I've had several appearances on Botchamania, and I've heard the "you fucked up" chants many times. But so I'm kind of proud. After a while, I got pretty good at covering up my fuck ups. So,
or you meant to do it.
yeah. Just stand up and go, "I meant to do that." Yeah.
Very briefly with WCW again, when you're Mr. JL and there's the cruiserweight thing sort of happening 95, 96. Were you specifically hired for a cruiserweight division that was sort of forming at that time, or you just happened to get in at the right time for it?
I think it was timing. Plus, like when I first started, I was on a nightly deal, and that's what I hurt my arm, came back, and I was the only guy with a mask. But when I came back 9 weeks later, now they had a dozen luchadors. Now a mask meant nothing. But they used me a lot to work with a lot of the luchadors because I think back then there weren't a lot of the American guys who could, knew how to base on the moves and do that style.
First time meeting Eric Bischoff, was it a fairly cordial affair? You say, we're going to pay you this many dates, turn up at so-and-so, or were there like plans explained and what they were going to do with you in the future?
I can't remember how that came because I met Eric he was still at the AWA when I was there. And then I cannot even remember for the life of me when I talked to Eric about coming to WCW. And I'm sure it was over the phone or something, but yeah, it was fine. He told me what I'd be making. He said, but you have to move to Atlanta, which I did.
Begrudgingly, it sounds.
Yeah, and well, not really. I mean, at that, I was just happy to, have a job in the business, even though, I wasn't happy how it all ended. But when it was, there's a little bit of bullshit that went down at the end, but, and, and I wasn't happy how it all went down. And in this business, we always think we deserve more. And I talked to Eric years and years later, probably, gosh, I don't know, maybe it was about 6, 7 years ago. I ran into him at a convention up in Duluth, Minnesota. And I told him, I pulled him aside and I said, Eric, I said, I don't know if you've heard or read any of them or something, but I buried you in interviews and stuff. And I said, I just really wasn't happy how the way things went down at the end of WCW and stuff. And he says, no, I understand. He says, I was a different person back then too. He says, I apologized to him. I said, when I look back, all you did was give me a job and a payday. And, and we're all cool. We're cool.
Was it, I don't know the circumstances, but were you just a victim of a bloated roster, I guess, at that point? Was that pretty much it?
That could be part of it, but there was other parts, but I don't want to get into it. It's all water under the bridge.
That's absolutely fine.